Artisanal and small-scale mining is a poverty-driven activity that provides essential livelihoods and income for rural communities. Since 2005, Sustainable Artisanal Mining Project of Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation focused on ASM formalization towards the economic strengthening of all stakeholders along a transparent and formal gold supply chain. This documentary illustrates the progress made in ASM formalization in Mongolia based on observations by international ASM experts who visited Mongolia in 2007 and came back to Mongolia again in 2015 after 8 years. Also, Mongolia hosted delegations from Tanzania, Zimbabwe and Ethiopia to share ASM knowledge and experience in 2015. Their observations and remarks about ASM situation in Mongolia are included.
I'm traveling since more or less 25 years, visiting different countries, working in different countries with artisanal small-scale mining. It was there in Bayonhongo with Hamodihe that practically for the first time in my 25 years career as a mining engineer, I got a security briefing by artisanal miners. Look, that is something that is really impressive and that shows the really outstanding, already professional level which these artisanal miners have. Hamodihe, and I've seen how they are working currently in a very, very well organized manner, observing health and safety regulations, looking after the environment, and really doing artisanal mining, or that I would say that is already small-scale mining, technical small-scale mining, at a community level, really at its best. If I see artisanal miners today, they are self-confident. They know we are citizens. Well, not yet all, but many of them really have a self-esteem, are aware of their rights, are aware also of their responsibilities, of course, wanting to do responsible artisanal mining, but are aware of their rights and are not anymore the same oppressed ninja miners they were at that time. Look, that is such a fantastic change which has happened in this country. I love to see it.
It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm very happy to come back and revisit the whole experience of Mongolia. Maybe it's important to mention the context. When we came here under CASM, the World Bank Initiative, it was such a scenario in Mongolia where the ASM was not yet recognized. Everybody was talking about ninja miners, and so to come back in such a few years and find that the scenario has changed a lot, it's very, very fulfilling and a very, very learning experience for me in principle. And I think I should congratulate the government of Mongolia and all the partners that are involved in making this happen. It is really good. By having the opportunity this time to go to the field, and I can say that I noticed that there is exceptional improvement in this sector. Just to mention an example, it's the first time that I come to a country where there is such sophisticated rescue service for artisan and small-scale mining. It's the first time that I go to the field and find that there is a safety brief before you enter an ASM site. That was really, really exceptional.
My first visit to Mongolia was in 2007. When I came here, I can't remember the month. It might have been July, August, or September, sometime in summer, to attend the CASM conference. I remember that was a revealing experience for me to see that large participation from the government sector in this major chasm conference. What I, however, remember is at the time ASM was still seen largely as a problem in Mongolia. So as though people were presenting, the government officials were presenting a problem to the wider audience, international audience, and seeking solutions to that problem. As compared to that, 8 years later, when I came to Mongolia in SDC conference, I can see change in everywhere. There are signs of prosperity everywhere. There's so many buildings and so much economic growth, and I can see the wealth that has been generated from mining gone into various construction activities. But more importantly, it is the change in the mindset about ASM that I can see. There has been, I think, a total turnaround about thinking about ASM. And I congratulate SDC and its SAM project for that.
One of the things that I'm really interested in is on occupational health and safety and environment for ASM. And I hear that the Mongolian process through the SAM project have produced some really fantastic materials on how to build capacity on occupational health and safety. That's one. And the impression that I also have, I think, is maybe based on it's the SAM project in terms of the relationship that the SAM project has with the, I suppose SDC is the donor.
Yes.
I think one of the challenges that we often have in the development world when we're trying to have interventions is that you get a donor that is interested in supporting a development intervention, and halfway through that intervention, their priorities change, and I've had personal experiences of that. And as an intervention, even though the objectives are very good, the priorities of the donor change and you're left in the lurch. And I get the feeling that the commitment of SDC to the whole Mongolian intervention on ASM formalization is probably one of, not the only thing, but one of the things that has probably made a lot of difference in the success of the project.
Cool, back in those days, which is nearly 10 years ago now, the issue was we had a global communities and small-scale mining initiative, and we were trying to set up regional partners to bring that information from the artisanal miners to the international scene. That is clearly has happened very strongly here now in Mongolia, that you've got a very strong national entity here which is providing the strength in feeding that information into the international community. I think that's a very significant development. It was also in thinking back in 2007, I mean, some of the attitudes seem to have changed. There's an understanding that artisanal mining is almost an inevitability, and the attitude in 2007 was clearly, yes, we're in a conflict situation here, we need to somehow address it as a policing activity. I think there's a realization now that it's more of a developmental opportunity rather than a policing activity, and how to treat it as a small business development activity, and ultimately, over time, perhaps get the artisanal miners out of artisanal mining into more sustainable livelihoods.
Actually, I congratulate you and I recommend you for the good work that you are doing. It is the way you approach the safety issues and the way you approach the risk issues is very encouraging, and it has been a very good lesson for us, because you seems to be more approaching. You engage with the people to understand what they are supposed to do, and after they understand, they do themselves, or they help you to do the proper work. So this is very, very good approach. You are doing a very, very good job, and we have learned a lot. Thank you.
When we came here, we had some expectations or to learn of the experiences on best practices on supporting artisanal mining. But I must say we were very impressed with the trip. We learned quite a lot in terms of the experiences that the Mongolians have gone through in terms of organizing the artisanal sector into cooperatives. And also we have seen statistics about the performance of the artisanal mining sector in terms of their contribution to GDP. So the things that we have seen are very, very useful, and I think it was very good exposure for us, which will help us as we are framing this study. And we've also seen quite a lot that will help us in terms of methodology, how we are going to undertake this study. But we've also established very serious networks with the Mongolian institutions in government as well as the ASM project. And we hope in future that we are going to collaborate more. Some of the work that ASM project is doing here will also be replicated in Zimbabwe, because the area of artisanal mining is an area that's still understudied, and it's one area that still needs to, quite a bit of some work to be done.
We have similarity. We are facing, there are a lot of 500,000 artisanal miners. When they get seed money or a capital, they should shift to higher level, to from artisanal miners to small scale level. So you can control and make organize the system very well and establish very well. So we are proposing like that. I think in your country as well, you can think of that system. Then after we can take a lesson from Ethiopia. Also, we could take a lesson from Mongolians as well.
It's remarkable. It's like nowhere in the world in terms of the transformation in artisanal mining. And that transformation is at the grassroots level. You see artisanal mining communities, artisanal miners, their families, and how now they've become organized. They're using safety gear and safe methods. They're concerned about the environment. They're organized. They're paying taxes. Especially the miners that have benefited from participation in the project. They serve as an example to other miners in the country and in fact other miners around the world. I see Mongolia as becoming a center of excellence in the world through this transformation of artisanal mining. And so it's a place where other countries, where we're trying out different models in East Africa, West Africa, South America, other Asian countries. We're trying these models and we can learn from Mongolia. There's a lot of countries we can learn from who've been trying different things, not as holistically as Mongolia, but on certain issues, there's definitely a lot to be learned. So I'm excited about the next steps, what's going to happen next. It's all eyes are on Mongolia because we've had amazing models and examples. We have amazing encouragement to keep going in our respective countries. And so all eyes are on Mongolia to see how they tackle the next steps.
This documentary is brought to you by Sustainable Artisanal Mining Project of Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation in Mongolia.